Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Gail, and this is Terry holding your space. And this is Glenda Dawson of Glenda's Magical Creations. Welcome to Galactic Gaia, the healing channel that Terry and I have created. Today, we have welcomed Glenda Dawson from Glenda's Magical Creations. We've welcomed her here, and she is, I've got a title for her. She is a divine guardian of Magical Healings is her title. Glenda has multiple gifts and talents on healings, and we're going to discover hers, and this will be going in our archive of healers. If y'all want to look back at the different type of healers we have, already have got quite a library started of different types of healings and healers, and we will be adding Glenda to that list, that library list, as soon as we finish here. So, Glenda, I want to go ahead and start off with you with just a little bit of background that brought you here, like your background. How did you end up being in the place you are, or being a healer?
Well, I was born with full remembrance, and before the age of 2, I used to talk to all of my archangels and my guides, and all this time, the age of 2, I'm thinking everybody's seeing them. I don't realize that I'm the only one who's seeing beings, in beautiful costumes and, they're joking around with me and all that. So that was that. And it never dawned on me until much later when I was older that I'm like, oh, okay. No wonder my mother used to say, just talk to me or your grandmother about this. Um, right before the age of 2, they came to me as I was sitting in my front porch and said, come on, you could walk. And for those that know me, know that I was not able to walk up till then because I was born with a lot of missing bones in my legs. You could not tell now, maybe now as I get older, I start showing it a little more because I'm tired. I'm like, I don't care. Uh, but when I was younger, you really couldn't tell unless you actually took off, my shoes and my pants and all that, and you could see. But from the knee down, there's a lot of bones missing. And those were the bones that supported your walking, basically. So basically, I was told I couldn't do it. And I was outside and they just said, come on, walk. And I was joking around with them, oh, what, are you going to fly me? Whatever. And they said, no, you're going to walk. I got up and they said, go inside and ask your mother for some water before we leave. I didn't realize that when I did that, my mother was going to scream, was going to faint. We had the whole neighborhood there because they thought something had happened. It's summertime. You have all the, you know, I was I was born in June, and so you have all the windows open. It was a good neighborhood. You had all the doors open, so everybody heard everything. And here I am, the day before my second birthday. I'm like, what is the commotion? I just came in here for water. Like, I'm still 2 years old. You don't realize any of that stuff. So the next day, my parents had already planned a birthday party. And now this birthday party turned into a big affair. And I'm like, I'm still not understanding. Mind you, I'm blowing out my 2-year-old candles on my birthday cake, and I make a commitment to divine creator that I will do greatest good as at will, of course, but for whatever they need me to improve humanity to for be greatest good for humanity. What could a 2-year-old know what that involved? Okay. But I did it. And every single year after that, I renew my commitment because I feel that they need to know that I still have free will. One, even though sometimes that it doesn't appear, and two, that I am still uh, definitely in this. It isn't when I was 2 years old as a child or whatever. And when you grow up, You understand the intensity of what you did, so you recommit. And then, as I got older, uh, basically is, don't worry about this and keep that child innocence, because that you're going to need, because you're going to have to just jump whenever into things that you may never remember or know. And so ever since then, it's been like, you got to move. No, I really don't want to move right now. Well, you got to move, and they do things to move. Um, I started, for example, my Reiki. Uh, I don't know my Reiki career, I guess. Uh,
Mm.
I was on my way. I was in New York on my way with a bunch of girlfriends to a meditation class, and I saw this little tiny sign that say Reiki with an arrow, and I could not move past that. I would take a step forward, and it's just it like, and I'm like, I want to go to this meditation. I already paid for the ticket. It was a group girl thing, and the whole. Well, back in the early '80s, they said nope, and I had no idea what even Reiki was,
Yeah.
but I knew that they're directing me there. They're pushing me that way. So basically, I said to them, "Okay, girls, you go ahead to do that. We'll meet across the street. There was this pizza place, and I said, we'll meet there. When we both finish, we'll just meet there." Now, I didn't know how much this Reiki thing. I didn't know anything about it. I walk in there, and I'm like, "So I'm here to sign up. Is there still room?" And they're like, "Yes, we still have room." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Okay." And then I said, my next question was not how much. My next question, what is it? Because I figured if I'm going to be in there, I kind of want to know what it is. So they explained it to me, and they're like, "You were asking if there was room without knowing what it is," and I said, "That's my life. That's how I just go with it. It's okay." So they then they told me the bill, and I'm like, so I had to take my credit card out
Yeah.
because in those times it wasn't what it is now. It was, a
How much
lot more, like
was
an art,
it?
yeah, somewhere around $10,000.
Wow, that's a
Yes,
commitment.
yes, that's a commitment.
Yeah.
And they would only come from Japan once a year
Oh,
to New York City,
yeah.
and the grandmasters will show you on a Saturday all that stuff, attune you and all that. The next day you came back, and you had to do uh, a session, and they had to see how you were connected, and did you really, and no notes, no books, no nothing. It was like a real commitment. And I'm like, do you understand that here in the United States we really can't just devour all our time for this? But um that's how they were, and it's just called. And ever since then, I've been just adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. Um, Whenever I see a new Reiki branch come up, I say, okay, is this for me, or have I finally had enough? And they're 99% of the times, no, you need to take that one. Oh, come on. Um, because it's all I keep getting told is that the more you open up that connection, no matter how connected you are, the more you open it, the better it is. Because now what I do is I do healings, Reiki healings or energy healing on all beings, not just humans. It's like, if somebody comes to me and says, okay, I have uh, I feel like I have a curse. Everything is going wrong with me. I feel like I have an attachment. And humans, they consider attachments to be so-called evil, which I can't stand that word. And it's all our own creation. So it's 99% of the times there are no, you know, devil in you or demon in you or anything like that. Is something that has happened to us, a trauma or whatever, and then we can't detach from that energy.
Right.
So I just and they come to me. They have taken me all over the place, and I just been following their guidance, their push. Um, I do have some that I just play around with and say, no, I don't think I want to do that. And then we joke around. I still do it anyway, but we joke around and fight and bicker and like an old married couple. And then, and then I have one that when that archangel comes as a female, I am like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I signed up for this one. So let's just get this over and done with. And it's.
Yeah. Are you working with animals as well?
Yes, I do. I
Yeah.
uh, I I
Okay.
do a lot of animal communication, and I do a lot of things like finding lost animals, and also I do animal reiki, which is all really interconnected because once you connect to the animal, no matter what it is that you're looking for, it's basically the same thing. It's like a radar, You're trying to find an animal, and I'm going to connect with them and try to see through their eyes what they see, where
Yeah.
they're at, maybe backtrack a little bit and how did you get there? Um, this one couple was looking for their dog about 5 years ago. And the dog, they had gone on vacation, and the keeper, the one that was taking care of it, left the front door open. So the dog went
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and I had to backtrack the steps, like from the point that it ran out the door and kind of look through their eyes and see what they did. And then all of a sudden, they just were, were going fast. And I'm like, you're in a car now. Now you're in a car. So where are you? They were out of state already. So we believe that maybe a truck driver or somebody like that saw the dog, tried to rescue it, fell in love with it, and just, you know, took
Yeah.
took off with the dog. So, but I was following and following, and every once in a while, I still they asked me to connect to see if the dog is okay, and they almost ended up meeting again at a truck stop, and they were about 10 minutes of difference. If had I been able to convince the truck driver to stay for a little longer, like even go to the bathroom again, they would
Yeah.
have been able to find each other. But
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Animals are so close to the angelic realm, aren't they?
yes, yes.
Yeah. So beautiful to work with. Do you feel like each time you go in, and because you say you've taken so many different Reiki courses,
Right.
each time you go in and get it's not called an adjustment. What's it called? I'm blanking.
Attunement.
Thank you, an
Attunement. Yes.
attunement. Yeah, I
Yes.
was blanking out. So it's such a beautiful opening, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. For example, the Mary Magdalene one, that is
Yeah.
such a special, special attunement because it allows you to feel that divine, feminine, unconditional love energy that just comes towards you. Like if you were under a waterfall, really trickle waterfall, and you're just like, oh Lord, this is so cleansing and so loving. So even for those that may have never felt true love or unconditional love of a mother, for example,
Mhm.
they feel it. And it's just a whole different other level. Like I keep, for example, I tell people, a SUI is like your general practitioner. And then all these other ones are your specialists. Like Karuna Key would be more for addiction or for real deep trauma and that kind of thing, where you could help the person realize what it is that's keeping them in that loop and then be able to let them work through it, heal it, so they don't keep doing that same pattern and go back into addiction.
So it feels like a lot of your working with you is also going to be talk therapy in a manner of speaking or coaching.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
which is beautiful.
Yes, it is, because I feel you have to do the whole thing. You can't just here's a pill and go away. No.
Yeah.
It's the healing, it's the aftercare, it's the keeping up with them. What is it that you're feeling? What is it that you're not feeling? And that's the same thing I do with my students. Even with when I taught, which everybody teaches tarot, and all that, and I taught intuitive tarot, and still to this moment, I get the students together every once in a while. How you doing? What are your concerns? Have you decided to open a business? This is how you do. You got to do this. You got to say this. If you do a website, you got to make sure you put that on the website. So it isn't just what I call a one and done. I follow through because it is part of the person and their journey. It cannot just be here it is and that's it. So
That's beautiful. Um, what would you say is brings you the greatest joy out of doing this?
when I see that magic light bulb just go boom, and it's like you could see everything. They're finally understanding what it is that they're going through, and that they're finally seeing some light at that place, and they know now that they can take it and then add to it, not just like a medication, not just a pill. you know um, Dr. Gail, you were you know in medicine and all that, and you're a chiropractor. You know that it isn't just one adjustment. You know that you have to keep adding to that adjustment
Right.
so that the person could be completely whole. And it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. You got to treat everything, the body, the soul, the mind, the spirit, the energy around them, and let them come to their own conclusions, but you kind of guide them, direct them, and feel safe to open up and speak about it. So
Well, I have a question. Well, I don't know if it's a question or a um, salute or admiration, but you received a certificate, achiever certificate,
yes, I did.
in 2026, most admired women leaders. So tell
Thank you.
me that.
Well, it came as a surprise to me. They came to me somewhere in October and they said you were nominated, and we have looked at everything and we have been following you for a little bit, and you're deserving of this. And I'm like, who nominated me? And they're like, no, we keep those things secret. And I'm like, okay, like I didn't even know, this whole process. And so from October to December, basically, after I'm done with the shock, because I'm like, what? And I feel so blessed, and I am so grateful that not only was I nominated, that they act, because they keep an eye on you. They research you and they make sure that you fit that title, not that somebody just came and said. And they love the fact that I follow through. And I have a feeling that one of them, somebody actually scheduled an appointment with me and saw what I did firsthand, because it's like that was the only person that I really had no connection. Out of the blue, they just show up. I want to schedule an appointment and this and that. I'm like, okay, I just figured somebody told them about me. Um, and so I was like, still I'm in shock, because I don't do this for the awards or anything, and it's just like, wow, okay. So basically, then they interviewed me, and then it came out, and I was like, wow, okay, I can't believe this. I was very impressed because they did research, which is something that I admire, because they didn't just take somebody's word for it. They really went further. They took care of it, and they realized that the healing wasn't just in the healing session, that the healing continued, that the follow up continued, because I do all my emails, and I make sure that the clients get me personally. Like if you come to a healing session with me or a class or whatever, I'm the one who's doing all the emails. If it's advertisement, I try to get my daughter-in-law to do that, because it's it's just sometimes a little too much on my plate. But um, I like I said, I follow up, and it's always very personal, very private, and um, I even in my office, whatever documents I have here, it's under lock and key. Nobody has this one office in my center, the key, except for me, of course, the landlord. But um, but he doesn't even come in here. It's like, so, and if he does, he wants me here when he comes into this one particular office, because he says that I know that that's your private stuff, that's your client stuff, and I would want the same courtesy if he came to me. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. So like I said, I'm still in shock, even though it kind of like settled in, but out of the blue, and I was just like a kid. I was like,
Oh, that's so nice that they recognize that.
yeah, I was just like, oh my God, what? Wait. And I thought it was a joke at first. I said, okay, stop. You're joking. I know this is a prank, or a scam, and all that other stuff. And they're
Yeah.
like, no. So they send me an email, and they send me all the links. And I'm like,
That's so exciting.
it is, it is. It was
Yeah.
really,
Congratulations.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Man, work that. So
So,
people can see you in person as well as online.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I have a center which I opened, renting one of the little offices on this floor in 2018. And then I've just been adding, and now I have the whole floor. So we have a big room where major classes go in. Then I have what I call my merchandise room, which is all the crystals and my special sprays that I have from family recipes. Little trinkets, my books, the coffee mugs, that kind of thing. Then I have a Reiki room, or if there's a massage therapist that wants to use it for one day or whatever, I allowed them to come. Then I have what I call the one-on-one room. That's the room where all the readings occur. That's the room where the person gets coaching or guidance or whatever. Because I know the proper term is coaching, but I prefer it as guidance. And
Yeah.
I'm not pushing anybody.
Yeah.
This is what I see that is best for you at this very moment, by what you're telling me and what I'm feeling, and the intuition, what I'm getting, the guidance I'm getting. So I'm giving you the guidance I'm getting. It's up to you what you do with it, because everybody still has free choice. And then I have another room, which is what I call the coffee room. That's where, I'm very grateful when all the clients bring cookies and cakes, and you know, so and all that stuff. So, and then I have this room, which is basically, like I said, my office, where I do the recordings, where I have all my information, um,
I
and
want to visit. Yeah. It sounds amazing. The energy around it sounds phenomenal. Feels phenomenal.
thank
So
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, since when you first walk in, it feels like a jungle because I keep getting plants and it's just like, and I'm like, I should stop at some point. Nah, it's okay. No
It's
big
like,
deal. So
it's
I
like,
even have a rose bush
oh,
in
wow.
a pot. Yes, yes. And I'm like, I refuse to take it home because here it looks so nice when it blooms.
Yeah. How beautiful. Was your family like this too? Were they healers and
On my mother's
gifted?
side, yes, yes. On
Yeah.
my mother's side, yes. On my father's side, they were very Christian,
Hmm.
very, very, very Christian. Not that my mother's side wasn't Christian, but they were not strict. They knew already that there was a lot more. I counted at least now with I just did the DNA at least 10 generations back of
Wow.
women that were gifted. And just 3 months ago, I found out that my maternal grandfather was also gifted. He's the one that would dream things at night, and he could tell you what was going to go on and all that other stuff in his from his dreams. And I'm like, okay, so why didn't anybody tell me this before? I am 64 years old now, and now I find out.
Well, everybody hid it then. They
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't.
you had to.
But
You had.
still, everybody's still hiding. So yeah, but we're all coming out.
Yeah, we're slowly introducing, and all that, but especially for me, I still remember the previous lifetimes, and it's a little. Uh, I have a lot of respect for boundaries, so I do them very slowly.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I have a lot of people around that, oh yeah, we're spiritual. Oh yes, there's a lot all this and that, and even the galactic family and all that. And I keep saying, people, do you really think we could be the only ones in all of these universes, all these galaxies, all the multiverses? I mean, like, come on. And it still doesn't click in quite yet. And I'm like, okay, I just keep those words and it'll click in when it needs to. It's the only
Right.
thing I can say.
When they're ready for it.
Hmm.
Well, Glenda, I want to thank you for coming. Terry, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm so excited about your center. We'll list your information
Yes.
in the description. So anybody that wants to get a hold of Glenda or one of her books or have a session with her,
Thank you.
or visit with her. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Thank
beautiful.
you very much.
Thank
It was
you.
a lovely time speaking to you both. Thank
Yes,
you very
it's been
much.
great, Glenda, getting to meet you. And we're going to say goodbye to this divine guardian of magical healings.
There you go. Thank you.
See you later. All right. Bye bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Glenda.
Thank you.